Welcome, everyone. I hope you've got a cup of tea and you're settled. We've got a copy of the PDF for you if you don't have your own copy of Mandukya. We're well into chapter 4 now, so I won't give a summary because Binduji will give a summary of the mantras, and then we'll have a lively discussion of Mandukya right after this session. So thank you. Welcome, everyone. Hari Om.
Om Namo Brahmadibhyo Brahma Vidya Sampradaya Kartrabhyo Vamsharishibhyo Mahadbhyo Namo Gurubhyaha Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashikritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha Ishvaro Guru Ratmeti Murtibheda Vivagine Vyomavat Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Bhadram Karneभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः स्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्ताक्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमि स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्ददातु Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Prajnam Shupratanai Stiradharanigarai Vyapya Lokan Bhuktva Bhogan Stavishtan Punaradidishanod Bhasitan Kamajanyan पीत्वा सर्वान् विशेषान् स्वपिति मधुरभुन् मायया भोजयन्नो माया संख्यं तुरीयं परममृतमजं ब्रह्म यत्तन्नतोऽस्मि यो विश्वात्मा विदिज विषयान् पाश्यभोगान् स्तविष्टान् पश्चाच्चान्यान् स्वमिति विभवान् ज्योतिषा स्वेन सूक्ष्मान् सर्वानेतान् पुनरविशनैः स्वात्मनि स्थापयित्वा हित्वा सर्वान् विशेषान् विगतगुणगणैः पात्वसौ नत्तुरीयः. The Upanishadic mantras. Om ityetadaksharamidam sarvam tasyopavyakhyanam bhutam bhavishyatiti sarvam onkara eva yachanyat trikalaaditam tadapyonkara eva. सर्वं ह्येतद् ब्रह्म अयमात्मा ब्रह्म सोऽयमात्मा चतुष्पात् जागरितस्थानः बहिःप्रज्ञः सप्ताङ्ग एकोनविंशतिमुखः स्थूलभुक् वैश्वानर प्रथमः पादः स्वप्नस्थानो अन्तःप्रज्ञः सप्ताङ्ग एकोनविंशतिमुखः विविक्तभुक् तैजसो द्वितीयः पादः यत्र सुप्नो न कञ्चन कामं कामयते न कञ्चन स्वप्नं न पश्यति तत् सुषुप्तम् सुषुप्तस्थान एकीभूतः प्रज्ञानगण एवमानन्दमयः आनन्दबुक् चेतोमुखः प्राज्ञस्तृतीयपादः एष सर्वेश्वर एष सर्वज्ञ एष अन्तर्यामि एष योनिः सर्वस्य प्रभवाप्ययौ हि भूतानाम् नान्तप्रज्ञं न भैकिप्रज्ञं नोपयतप्रज्ञं न प्रज्ञानगणं न प्रज्ञं नाप्रज्ञम् अदृश्यम् अव्यहार्यम् अग्राह्यम् अलक्षणम् अचिन्त्यम् अव्यपदेशम् एकात्मप्रत्ययसारं प्रपञ्चोपशमं शान्तं शिवम् अद्वैतं चतुर्थं मन्यन्ते स आत्मा स विज्ञेयः यो सोऽयमात्मा अध्यक्षरमोङ्कार अधिमात्रं पादामात्रा मात्राश्च पादा अकार उकार मकार इति जागरितस्थानो वैश्वानर अकार प्रथमा पात्रा पाप्तेरादिमत्वाद्वाद् आप्नोति वै सर्वान् कामान् आदिश्च भवति य एवं वेद स्वप्नस्थानतैजस उकारो द्वितीया मात्रो उत्कर्षाद् उभयत्वाद्वा उत्कर्षति वै ज्ञानसन्ततिं समानश्च भवति न अस्य ब्रह्मवित्कुले भवति य एवं वेद सुषुप्तस्थान प्राज्ञात् मकार तृतीया मात्रा मितेरपितेर्वा मिनोति वा एवं सर्वं सतीतिश्च भवति य एवं वेद अमात्रश्चतुर्थो अव्यवहार्य प्रपञ्चोपशमः शिवो अद्वैत ओङ्कारम् आत्मैव संविशति आत्मना आत्मानं य एवं वेद. Om. So we have been going through the Upanishad and the Karika by Gaudapada for the Mandukya Upanishad for some time now. We are well into the third Prakaranam or the third book or chapter, which is called the Advaita Prakaranam. Having explained the Agama Prakaranam, which is the first chapter based on the Upanishad and its meanings, Gaudapada moved to the second chapter where he established what is Vaitatyam or appearance or unreality, Mithya. All of them, Vaitatyam means unreal, Mithya. So he established why the appearances, even though the experiences are real, the appearances are unreal. So he has established that. Now, even though it is the appearances are unreal and the experiences are real, he is moving to the third chapter with a very clear intention that he has two philosophies which he has propagated through this Karikas. One is Ajata, that means there is nothing which has really happened, or no creation has really taken place. Jata means born or created. Ajata means that there is no creation. And then the other aspect is which is be touching later in this chapter will be Asparsha Yoga, which we will be studying in detail. It is not much different from what we are studying now. It is only that he has coined a new word for it. So the methodology with which Gaudapada has established in the Advaita is based on the fourfold messages. The existence of the world should be negated. He is very clear about that. The existence of the world should be negated. The origin of world should be negated. The appearance and the experience of the world are to be accepted. And the fourth one is the cause of the appearance and the experience is due to be understood by due to Maya, self-ignorance, or the ignorance about the Turiyam, or the fourth aspect of the which was established in the first chapter itself. So he is saying that the existence of the world should be negated means we have to be very, very clear about it. What does he mean by that world is negated? Not only he is saying the world is negated, he is saying the origination of the world is also negated. There is no way the world can originate. Therefore, the world is negated. But at the same time, he is saying that the appearance and the experience of the world is to be accepted because that is a practical phenomena which is happening as the individual. So that why is he asking us to accept it is that using that, if we don't use that also, then we cannot go anywhere. For that purpose, he is asking us to accept the appearance and the experience. Accept it in such a way that we should understand that the experience and appearance are due to ignorance or the non-apprehension of the reality. The example which all the Advaitins use, which is the same which Gaudapada is also using, is that the snake was never a real creation. So the existence of the snake is negated. Origin of the snake should be negated means from a rope, a snake can never originate. Whatever may be the condition, a live snake can never, or even a dead snake can never never originate from a rope, which is not the nature of the snake. The nature of snake is different, nature of rope is different. Therefore, the origination of the snake is negated. But the appearance and the experience of the snake is to be accepted because we are seeing the snake in the place of the rope, and there is an experience of seeing the snake and the aftermath of that appearance of the snake, which can create in the mind and the fear and psychosis of the one who is seeing that. To know that why this appearance and experience are being accepted is that the cause of the appearance and experience is due to the ignorance. The ignorance of the reality of the rope is the reason why the snake is appearing. The rope is never a cause for the snake, either material cause or instrumental cause, or in any other form. You cannot say the snake had any causality in it embedded to become the snake, which has the experience of the snake to arise from. And it is arising, if at all we are arising and we are having this experience of the snake, it is due to the non-apprehension of the reality of the rope, or the ignorance of the nature of the reality of the rope. Not only that we did not know the rope, we should also understand the rope can never become a snake. So having understood this aspect, now in the Ajatavada, or in the remaining 6 verses which were he is establishing it, that he is starting with the 20th verse is with this: Ajatasya eva bhavasya jadim icchanti vadinaha ajata hi amrita bhava martyatam kadam ishyate. This is where we stopped in the last session. Ajatasya eva bhavasya jadim icchanti vanava. Those who are disputing that the creation of the world is there, and the disputed wish to ascertain the birth of the unborn reality itself. That is, the unborn Ajata is the reality or the substratum which can never become anything other than that. Therefore, it is Ajata. And the disputants, or those who are arguing are that it is being born out of that is there in the scriptures. Because in other Upanishads it is referred that there is creation. Yadova imani bhutani jayante eta jatani jivanti yat pravityapi sambhishanti tadeva brahmatvam vidhi. So very clearly the Brahma is being referred to in the Taittiriya Upanishad as that from which bhutani jayante, the creation is taking birth. Etani jatani jivanti, those who have born are nourishing and living on that. Yat pravitya visham vishanti, after the demise or the destruction, it goes back into the thing. Tadeva brahmatvam vidhi. You should know that as the Brahma. Is the statement from Taittiriya Upanishad. So here Gaudapada has got a very tough job to refute and make people who are steadfast in the Vedas and Upanishad to understand something which is contrary to what is given in the Upanishad. It's not easy. So he has to take both the scriptural statements contrary to creation, and he also has to bring in logic to establish that the contrary words are more reliable, because that is the logically also valid. Whereas the other places where the creation is being mentioned, the logic doesn't hold the water. So he has used this method in the subsequent verse, where he says that Na bhavati amritam martyam na martyam amritam tada prakriter anyatha bhava na katanjit bhavishyati. This is a very important word which is most often quoted by all philosophers of Advaita. Not only Advaita, even other philosophers use that. Prakriter anyatha bhava na katanchit bhavishyati. Prakritehe means the intrinsic nature of anything. Anyatha bhava, to have another aspect of it from its intrinsic aspect. It means from the intrinsic nature, anything other than that, katamchit na bhavishyati. It will never happen. Is a statement which is logically valid. A fire will always be fire. Water will be always water. All those things which is a prakriti intrinsic in nature will always remain in the intrinsic nature. It can never be something other than that. Na bhavati amritam martyam na mrityam amritam tada. Therefore, the immortal does not become mortal, and in the same way, the mortal cannot become immortal. Now, here is the catch 22 situation, or the situation where it is very clearly contrary. I mean, it is to be understood in the proper sense that the immortal Atma, or the nature of awareness which can never born, never dead, Ajam, Nirvikalpam, Avyayam, all those definitions of in the Avyavaharyam, Achintyam, Alakshanam, Ekatma Pratyasaram, Prapanjopashamam, Advaitam, all those statements of which is referring to the Atma is Amritam, which is cannot be destroyed. You cannot make any change in it. Therefore, it can never become a born thing. It cannot be other than that. So, the nature of Atma will be always the nature of Atma. It has never become a Jivatma, the self. Same way, if you think that there is Mritam, Martyasya Amritam Tada, that is mortal things are there. I am a mortal. I have birth and death and all those things is our belief and our faith, and we are convinced about it. Please understand that if that is your faith, you can never become immortal. You will never understand what is immortality, because that is what you are believing in it. To remove these, misconception is why he is saying prakritehe anyata bhava na katanchit bhavishyati. The intrinsic nature of a thing will never be another thing other than that. So we have to understand that when he says that the Atma is the one which is never changeable, Achyutaha, Achalaha. All sorts of definitions are given for the Nirguna Brahman, where it cannot become anything other than that, where it will not become anything. So therefore, if you say that if the Upanishad is saying that it has become so Tasmat Atmat Akasha Sambodha Akasha Vayu Vayor Agni. In the Taittiriya Upanishad, it is saying that from that it became the Akasha, and the Akasha became the Vayu, Vayu became the, like that it is saying grade-wise base creation. So Gaudavada says that even if the Upanishad says, or the Vedas are saying that, which is illogical, the Upanishad should be discarded. He is making a very, very, challenging statement for the believers who are steadfast in the Upanishad and everything. Yatra Vedana Veda Bhavati. Where the Veda will also become a Veda. The explanation what he is saying that if the Upanishad or if the Veda is saying that Vandya Putro Jayate, there is a child born to a barren woman, can it be accepted even if it is Upanishad is saying, or can the Upanishad say that the human horn or a horn of a rabbit, Nara Dushanam, that hair of a horn, or horn of a hare, all those things are Asat, Sat, Asat, these are the two separate ways in which it has been divided. Asat is that which will never be there, and Sat can never become Asat. So in the Bhagavad Gita 2:16, Nasado vidyate bhavo na bhavo vidyate sata, it is telling the same thing. That intrinsic nature of a substance will always be there. Misapprehension of that can give rise to appearances, and that appearances can give rise to experiences. Therefore, the experiences may be taken as real because the whole process is that misapprehension is the first place. So, this is why he said that in the next verse he is saying that Swabhava nirta yasya bhava gacchati martyatam kritakena mritatyasya katham stasyati nischala. Swabhave namrita yasya bhava gacchati martyatam. If the intrinsically immortal reality undergoes mortality for a person, Kritaken amritasya kadam stasyasi nischala. How can the immortality remain the same for him since he is a product? This is what I was explaining. If we think that we have got birth, growth, decay and death, and if that is our conviction, then there is no need of moksha. Why are we thinking that immortality, moksha, that realization will happen and I'll become immortal? It can never happen because what is mortal will be always mortal. What is immortal will always remain immortal. The mortal can never become immortal, immortal can never become mortal. So here what is he refuting? If you are thinking you are mortal and if your origin is immortal, you are confused. You are not knowing the reality, therefore you are superimposing the mortality qualities on the immortal and thinking that you are a mortal. So intrinsically, this is what is the quality of the nature of awareness is what is to be understood and appreciated and steadfast on that. Bhutataha abhutataha va api srijyamano samabhruti nishchitam yukti yuktam cha yetad bhavati na itarat. Bhutataha abhutataha va api ta srijyamane samashruti. The Vedic statements is in the same way, whether duality is created really or apparently. Nishchitam yukti yuktam cha yat bhavati na itare. That which is ascertained by yukti yuktam, by analysis, and is supported by reason. Nishchitam, reason, and not what you should go by the stuti. This is where what I said. Where if the Shruti is, or the Vedic statement is making the statement that Vandya Putra or the son of a barren woman or a Rishishunga or Narabhushanam, these are the types which can never happen. Akasha Kusumam. There can never be a flower in the sky. But if it is being told in the Upanishad, you should use your logic. There is a meaning which the Upanishad, when it is making a statement of that thought of a creation, is to negate it, not to establish the creation. The creation is explained to negate the creation. It is just like that. The explanation of a potter, the potter's wheel, the mud, the water, the clay, the donkey who is bringing the mud, and the thing, everything is explained to create a pot in the name and the shape as a pot. The creation is explained, and the pot is a reality as a pot which is being used. But even when that creation is being explained, the space of the utility of the pot inside was never a creation. It was never created before, never was it made into a new place. Always it is the space in which the pot existed, the mud existed, the space existed. There was nothing which was created. But because of the shape and the form of the pot has come, there is a utility value and experience of a pot for holding material like water or grain, etc., etc. That space was not created. It was always there. To negate that the space was created, that if somebody is explaining the creation of the pot is not a reality to create space. Pot is an appearance for limiting the space which is not cannot be limited, because space is unlimited. Same is the case with the awareness. The awareness, when it is limited with an object or the objective awareness happens, it is due to this identification of the limitation of the object being superimposed on the awareness of the awareness in the reality. The awareness can never be bifurcated, never can be contained in an object. It is awareness. In awareness, the objects appear like that space, the pot appears. This is what Gaudapada clearly wanted. There is no creation in reality. The world has never become a reality. The world is not a reality. And the Brahman, the origin from where the Brahman, the Chaturtham, the Turiya, has never become the world. Now he is going now explaining from this, quoting the Shruti Vakyas, the other Upanishad words, which are that Neha naneti cha maya indriyo maya bhi datyabhi ajayamano bahuda jayate maya tu saha. Now here is that na iha nana iti. There is no multiplicity here. Iha means here, nana means multiplicity. Na iti. There is no multiplicity here. He is referring to that Kathopanishad word, Neha nanasti kinchana. There is nothing which is in the form of multiplicity here at any point of time. Indro Mayavi iti. There is the Brihadaranya word where Indra is referring to the Paramatma. Mayabhi, using Maya, has created the world is a statement which is used in the Brihadaranya Upanishad, which is contradicting Neha Nanasti Kinchana. This is the thing. And in the Purusha Suktam there is a statement, Ajayamano Bahuda Vijayate. Ajayamana means that without becoming born, Bahuda Vijayate, it became many. It became in many forms. So without becoming born, it has become many is a self-contradicting statement in the Upanishad. So what does it mean that? How can there be, Bahuda Vijayate and Ajayamana, that which cannot become many has become many, is to bring into our understanding that your understanding or our understanding of the multiplicity has an error in understanding. That is the error, Maya bhi, due to the Maya or the ignorance, we appear to be having multiplicity. And that multiplicity is an appearance, and therefore the appearance can give you experience. In the Bhagavad Gita, in the 4th chapter, Bhagavan himself says that Ajo api san avyayatma bhutanam ishvaro api san prakritim swamadhisthaya sambhavami atma mayaya. So he is saying that in the Bhagavad Gita also, atma mayaya. Due to his own maya, he is ajo api. He is intrinsic in nature of not possible to be born. Ajo api. Avyaya Atma, that which cannot become decayed. Bhutanam Ishvara, he is the one which is the controller of everything, appearing to be Son. Prakritim Swam Adhisthaya. By using this Prakriti or Maya, in assuming that Sambhavati, appear to have become many. Ajayamano bahuda vijayate. This is that it is the one which is being explained in the Bhagavad Gita, also in the other Upanishad. There are statements, if we want to look at it, we can very clearly saying that the Upanishad is explained, Upanishad, whichever Upanishad you take, it is has got aspects which is saying that your experience of multiplicity is depending upon the one which cannot become multiple. Therefore, the multiplicity is an appearance in that which cannot become multiple, and therefore, your error, the erroneous knowledge of the substratum or that which is from where you are appearing the multiplicity, is the cause for it. The multiple waves appearing in the ocean has never become the multiple waves which you are seeing. The ocean or the water has never become other than the water, even for temporary purpose like a cloud or a snow, which is gaseous and solid in nature. But that appearance is momentary in nature. They cannot remain in a state of permanency. They will become to its nature, intrinsic nature of the liquid water. So the appearance momentary, if it is there, it has not really become something other than that. It is appearance, the say ocean itself is appearing as a wave, or the space appearing limited by the pots and the house and the hospital or etc. Is an appearance of the space due to not understanding the quality of the space, and we call it as by transactional purpose as the house or the hospital or the pot space. Now this is what which we have to say. In the next verse he is quoting the Hiranyagarbha upasana of the what you call in the Ishavasya Upanishad. Sambhuder apavader cha sambhava pradishidyate kaha kenvadam janayet iti karanam pradishidyate. So Sambhude means Sambhude there in the Ishavasya Upanishad is referring to the Hiranyagarbha, the first born, Pratamacha, the first born that from the Brahma or from the Atma, Paramatma, the first one is Karya Brahma, which is called the Hiranyagarbha, which later becomes the world of objects. Now, in this one, that Ishavasya Upanishad refutes the upasana on the Hiranyagarbha can take you to Amrutatva. Kaha anve janayet iti karanam pradishidyate. It is refuting the cause of becoming multiples of by the Hiranyagarbha. Apavadat sa sambhava pradishidyate. So sambhava means creation. The origination is negated in this one. There is a beautiful what you call portion of where Yajnavalkya in Maitreyi Samvada in the Maitreyi Brahmana of the Brihadaranya Upanishad, which I am compelled to refer to here. In that Yajnavalkya, before his last parting advice to his wife, before he takes to sannyasa, is the ultimate which you can say. Yatra hi dvaitam iva bhavati tad idara idaram pasyati. Yatra hi dvaitam iva bhavati. Wherever there is an appearance of duality, tad idara idaram pasyati, then the appearances make you feel that there is idara idaram means separatedness. Pasyati, you can see the differences. Idara idaram jigradi, you can get the smell of different things. Idara idaram rasayet, you can get the taste of different things. Tad idara idaram abhivadati, then you can communicate with the two. Idara idaram srunoti, you can hear one another. Idara idaram manude, you can even think about multiplicity or the separate the duality. Idara idaram sprashati, you can sense or the touch feeling also can be brought in. Tatara idara idaram vijanati. You can even think that you are knowing the other thing knowingly. Then he says, because he says that all these things are because the beginning statement is yatra hi dvaitam iva bhavati. As if that duality has happened. Iva means as if. Yatra dvaitam iva bhavati. Then you get all these pashyati, zigrati, rasayet, bhavyavati, srunoti, manute, sprushati, vijanati, all sorts of transactions of duality is appearance from the dvaitam or the duality apprehended as if real. Yatra tu asya, where this is to be understood, where this is understood as Sarvam Atmaiva Bhut, everything is as Atma, as one's own Atma, one's own reality, or one's own reality, or the reality of every self. Atmaiva Bhut, Tat Kenakam Pashyet, then where is the separation to see one another? Sarvam Atmaiva Bhut, everything has become Atma. So when Atma, how can they see the another Atma? Kam Keshet, Kenakam Jigret, Kenakam Rasayet, Kenakam Abhivatet, Kenakam Shrunuyet, Kam Kenaket Manuet, Tat Kenakam Sprushet, Tat Kenakam Vijaniyat. All those what you thought that you are doing, like smelling, tasting, talking, touching, thinking, conversation, everything, who will do to whom when Satyatu Atmaiva Bhut Sarvam? For such a person where everything he becomes seen, everything in Atma is as everything, then within. Sarvam Vijaniya tat Sarvam Vijanadi tat Kenakam Vijaniyat. How can he know himself if he is the one who is everything? Yesha neti neti Atma grihyo na grihyate shiryo na hi shiryate na sango na sihi sajjate na siyato na vyathate na rishyate vijnatare are kenam vijaniyat. Once you know that sarvam atmaiva bhut, how can you have even transaction in this one? Because you are seeing everything in that. You are not, the individuality itself is gone because you are not there separate from it. So to you to have a conversation, to have a taste or have a touch or a smell or a think or talk or converse, anything, your individuality is gone. This is exactly where the dualist is creating the reality of the dualist is because their ego or the self or the individuality they cannot abandon. To hold on to their individuality, they need to create a Ishvara separate from them because they cannot leave their self individuality. The self is important to them. For the protection of the self, they create an Ishvara who is a creator of the world. Therefore, the duality is real for them because they don't want to leave their thing. Yatra tu sarvam atmaiva bhut. Only when you know that everything is Atma, tatra tenakam vijaniyat, who is there to know everything, who is there to create, who is there to taste, who is there to smell. Are Vitnyataram are Kena Vijaniyat. He is asking Maitreyi, who is there the knower to know anything? Because the knower and the known, there is no difference. Neti neti Atma. When you say that this, what is not that neti, what you are negating is the appearances, not the reality of the appearance, not the experience or anything. But when you know the appearance is not a separate from what it is bearing and the awareness or the knowledge, now this is how Yajnavalkya telling that Maitreyi in the thing Kenakam Vijaniyad Ityukta Anushasasi Maitreya Iteta Vatare Kalu Amrudatvam iti. This is the immortality which is being I am searching for, and it is this immortality for which I am taking sannyasa. You understand, this is what is your nature, this is what my nature. I am not separate from you, you are not separate from me. I don't think that I am going or anything. These are all appearances. Itara dudam ita bhavati. When you consider this as appearance and the duality is there, then all these appearances will appear to be real for you. This is how that in that sa esha neti neti vyakyatam vishnute yata sarvam agrahya bhavena hetuna ajam prakashate. When neti neti, as per that Yajnavalkya's advice to Maitreyi, when we do the sa esha neti neti atma, the atma is what you can say neti, what is not this, not this. When you see a duality, it is not a reality. Duality and reality cannot stay together. Please understand that. Vyakyadam nishnudeyata. Sarvam agrahya bhavena heduna ajam aga prakashate. Because this that ajam, it cannot be born, because that is the prakriteir anyado bhavo katanchit bhavishyati. That which is not even born, how can it become born again for something else, to become something else? That itself was not born. The Atma or Paramatma, Turiyam, Brahma, whatever name you want to call it is, that itself has never born. Then how can something else be born from that? So that intrinsic nature of that is to be not to be born, not to become anything other than that. So where can that the ajam sarvam agrahya bhavena hetuna, it cannot become a hetu, can never become, that can also cannot become a hetu for everything, because there cannot be a second one other than that. Neha nanasti kinchana, there is nothing other than that. So this, therefore he is saying the reality is ajam, ajatavada. What he says is that this is what the Upanishad is ultimately wanting to understand. It is with your logic also you can prove that it is in there in the Vedic words also. If at all the Upanishad and the thing is talking about the creation, it is to negate the reality of the creation, because it is just like saying the story in the what you call in that Ramayana, the what you call Yajnaval, Yoga Vasishta. In the Yoga Vasishta, there is a beautiful story of a barren woman's son becoming a prince and creating the whole world of experiences. The barren woman cannot give birth to a child, so the rest of the story has no validity. How can he get married to a queen or a princess, create children, create the world of a beautiful palace, more beautier, better than heaven, etc. The question is the first statement. If the son of a barren woman becomes a prince, where you know that you have been fooled by the statement. The rest of the story cannot stand. There is no what you call logic behind the story becoming reality. Same is the case. This ajam, this Brahma, this Atma, by intrinsic nature cannot become multiple. It has never become multiple. Never the duality is there. The multiplicity of the object is Maya, because of the ignorance. We do not know the reality of the substance. Now, if you are to really consider that, when we are looking at it, we are looking with ignorance. So the world appears to be real. When we are not looking at, the world is not there. It has become one with awareness. Like that, Schrodinger's cat. When the observer is there, the cat is dead or alive. But it is not being observed. It can be both dead and alive. How can it be both dead and alive simultaneously? It cannot become. The same way, the light particle is a particle and a wave. The wave and the particle simultaneously. All these statements, what does it indicate? That they are also moving towards the same reality only, whether it is called quantum or anything like that. When the observer with the ignorance observes something, there is an appearance. And the appearance appears to be real, therefore the experience becomes real. The validity of the appearance is not being questioned. Whether it is a wave or a particle, observer dependent, it is dependent upon the observer. Same way, the reality of the experiences has not been analyzed or scrutinized by us to know that where does they all come from. It is, if it is coming from immortal things, then the mortality cannot be there, because immortal can never become mortal. But if it is a mortal thing, the mortality only will be real, it can never become immortal. And we all know that the awareness can, or the knowledge or the awareness or the consciousness can never become nothing other than that. Prakritir anyado bhava katanchit bhavishyati. Never is becoming anything different from that. Therefore, ajam, this immortal Atma Turiyam, is the only reality which is to be understood. This is the word he is going to conclude by his verses. Sadohi Mayaya Janma Yujyate Natu Tattvataha. Tattvataha Jayate Yasya Jatam Tasya Hi Jayate. For a never existent one, birth is possible only apparently, not reality. Therefore, ajam. The reality, Satohi Mayaya Janma Yujyate Nadu Tattvata. So, Mayaya Janma, because of the ignorance, there can be appearances. But the reality of that appearances has not become separate from from where it is appearing. Tattvada Jayate Yasya Jatam Tasya hi jayate. Whatever is born again to that person who holds that it is really born. That means this is what we are saying, that if you are holding on to your body which is born, to such a person, jayate yasya jatam tasya hi jayate. Therefore, for him the birth and the death and everything is reality. But are you the body which is we are associating with it? Or are you knowing your body? Are you a conscious entity who knows your body and its functions? This has to be understood, why this clarity should be brought in, because that entity has never become the body. The body of the waker appeared, the body of the dreamer appeared, the body of the dreamer appeared, but the one who knows that these appearances are happening was never taken up a body, therefore he has never he was born. He has never born as a waker, never was born as a dreamer, never was born as a deep sleeper. They are mere appearances. So the witness, the Sakshi, which is aware of these changes, was never become anything in reality. But the association with that waker, and we think that we are the waker, it is due to Maya, or the ignorance of the association of the mind as the waker. Ignorance of the mind of the dreamer, there is a different set of world created by the mind of the dreamer, or the dreamer projects himself in that as a dreamer. Same way the waker projects himself as a waker and experiences of the world, and the world, he himself is there in the world. So all those things have to be understood from ajayamano buhuda vijayate. It has not really become multiple. It is ajayamanaha, the one which cannot be born, and it appears to be many is only due to ignorance. So look into our own reality. When you know your reality, what is our true nature, then only we can shift our identity from the in that perspective to understand who we are. In the Bhagavad Gita, the second chapter, 25th verse, Bhagavan says, Avyaktoyam achintyoyam avikaryoyam achyute tasmadevam viditvenam nanu shochatum arhati. He says that there is no way you can cry and feel that you are a limited minuscule body individual. You are avyakta, achintya, avikari, achyuta. These are the words he is referring to you. Tasmadevam viditvainam nanu shochidum arhati. You, there is no way you should cry for it because you are the immortal. You are never born. You are not the one who is growing and decaying. You are observing the growth and the decay. Therefore, the observer has to be different from the growth and the decay. And therefore, the birth and the death is also an appearance of the body with which we are associating for that. We are ajaha, nitya, shashwataha, puranaha, nahanyate hanyamane sharire. So that is the nature of our reality. We should be able to think and shift our identification with our physical body to know who we are in reality. After that, the appearances were there, is there or not, you will know what is the reality of the appearances, and that will not torment you anymore. I'll stop it here. The 28th verse onwards, that the theme changes, but continuation towards his Asparsha Yoga, which we will take it on the Friday. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Thank you. Dhanyawada.